The 2025 NFL Draft is in the books. We relive the Browns' choices, decisions now on All Eyes on Cleveland. What is happening, good people of the OBR streaming network? Glad to see you here filing into the chat to, post spam case. You are a man of your word and you lived it down beautifully on the air. We'll talk all about it. We've got the Browns draft to get through. I've got some grievances to get off my chest and others. As we talk about the direction of the Browns from here till the season and what that all kind of looks like as well. Good to see you all here. Hit like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you know every time we go live. My name is Brad Ward. That's Post Spam Case. What's going on, big case dog?
Living in a post-spam world, went 46 years, no spam. Now I've been spammed. So I'm just trying to deal with the after effects of that. And just like the draft was a whirlwind. It was weird. It was wild. And trying to like make sense of some of the moves I loved. It was all over the place, man.
It was, man. It was a weird, the whole draft was weird. I feel like they kind of, like, if you notice that nationally, they're getting all the A pluses. Like, they're getting all the hype for their draft.
Yeah.
And I feel like they fell kind of ass backwards into that.
Yeah.
Don't you think that they're getting a lot of the national hype because they took two quarterbacks? Sanders was the second one. And then people are like spinning that to be like the trade is a net positive right out the get, right? Because what the hell was Jacksonville doing? I thought I don't like Colin Cowherd, but I thought he made a good point in saying, like, new GM, new coach, new everything in Jacksonville. Do you really know enough to be making that kind of a trade about you? You don't even know enough about your team to be making that kind of a trade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I thought was kind of a good point. But whatever. He got aggressive, but they won that trade massively, easily. Like, that was a haul. Now, what you did with it, I have some questions about, but ultimately you leave with a first rounder next year, which is the biggest thing. And I think part of the reason the national everybody is, crowning, or not crowning them, but like giving them credit for their draft is because they took two quarterbacks and Shedeur was second. So there's like this, I don't know, like buffer, and they're like, everybody's like saying, oh, well, here comes try-hard Dylan Gabriel, and they took him first, and he's going to do everything right, so Shedeur is going to be forced to fall into his lane, and you know what I mean? Have you heard this narrative?
Yeah, but it's absurd because the Browns didn't go into that draft with a thought like, we're going to take Shedeur late, but we're going to get someone in front of him so it drives. And that's all. Like, and as painful as this is, and it's because Gabriel wasn't on our radars. We weren't talking about that as a quarterback. So it caught all of us off guard. But the reality is, and it's a reach. Like 94 is a reach for Gabriel. That's just the way it is.
A wild reach.
But they did that because that's Stefanski's guy. We've said this forever, like, man, just let Stefanski pick his guy and let's roll. So I can't be mad when the guy, like, we got that. We got exactly that. Stefanski picked his guy. Can I get mad because it's not the guy I wanted him to pick? What's the point of him picking his guy? It's his guy. Now you got to show me. But, like, it was wild, man. This was such a non-typical AB draft. Like, you went meat and potato positions. You went defensive tackle, linebacker, running back right off the rip. Like nobody had that on their bingo card. I've yet to see someone with a timestamp mock draft that represented anything close to what we got on Friday night. But back to the trade. Yes,
Yeah.
you get a first rounder. You pick up, 39, which proves to be, or 36, which proves to be crazy good because that gives us Judkins, which was the pick I felt the best about in the moment.
Yeah.
It's like, that was that and Fannin. But everything still hinges on what Travis Hunter becomes. Because if Travis Hunter becomes the thing that we were hoping that he would become, and we don't do anything with that first pick, and like it's going to be that whole Julio thing all over again.
Yeah. Yes and no. So we talked about this too. I don't think if you're the Browns, I don't think you can pass up that trade offer. Because they don't have their franchise quarterback. And with any, with any offer, you have to bring that to the table and talk about it. And I'm sorry. Let me just disclaimer this right now, Case. I had dental work done today. My face is swollen. My shit hurts, bruh. And it's hard to talk right now. I'm still kind of getting used to it. So I'm fumbling through my words a little bit here, so bear with me. But yeah, I don't think you can pass that up because with every trade offer that includes a first next year, especially from a team like Jacksonville, you have to consider how you're getting your long-term answer at quarterback. And going into next year's draft with 2 1s, I don't know how you turn that down. And you got 36 out of it.
Mm-hmm. But if Travis Hunter ends up becoming that generational guy that plays, but like if he does things we've never seen and that actually comes to fruition, that's going to be a massive what if in this organization's ledger. It just is.
I don't think so because I don't think. Here's why. Here's why I don't think so. I don't think he can go. Travis Hunter can go win you a Super Bowl by himself.
We don't know what they're going to do with that pick. I'm just saying, man, if he becomes something we've never seen before, trust me, the second guessing will happen.
Okay, yeah, I mean,
here's my other point.
I had no anesthesia, broken arrow, no anesthesia.
They got the second first round pick, so they got 2 first round picks. So by all appearances, they're all in for quarterback next year, and then you draft 2 quarterbacks this year. For me, it feels like they're trying to execute 2 separate plans at the same time.
Right.
And it also shortens your runway because you have to evaluate these 2 dudes now. You have to know obviously they're under contract for 4 years, but as far as are they the dude going forward, you have to figure that out this year no matter what, because Jacksonville could force your hand and end up with the 3rd overall pick, and you're sitting there in a deeper quarterback class of bona fide starters with a lottery ticket that you'll be forced to take. It's weird to me, man. I think you could have done, if you were going all in for quarterback next year, I think you could have done better with the picks you had this year to set whoever that guy is up.
Yeah, there's no doubt we're going to go through that. I think that they could have done better with what they did this year as well. I think that it's easier to take the complete draft as a whole and say, if you move Sanders to 33 and you move, you know what I mean? And you move
I sent you that the next day.
Yeah, and if you move the players all around the board, not where they actually got taken, it looks like a good class. It looks like you played it well. But if you look at where they actually got taken, you're like, wow, what the shit? So, yeah, let's talk about it. I understand your point about the two paths, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. But let's go through some of this first here.
Yep.
The trade down. Browns send number 2, 104 and 200, a fourth and a sixth, to Jacksonville and receive it, the 5th overall pick, 36, 126 in the Jags, first and 26. Now, I want a real reality check right now. Do you know who has the team who has the best odds to be the number 1 pick in the draft next year?
Is it the Jets?
Your Cleveland Browns. Plus 28,000 to win the Super Bowl. The worst odds of any team in the NFL. How can they be the worst?
I don't know, because we carry the stain of our past with us. People helmet scout. That's what that's all that is. That's all that is.
That was shocking to me last night. I was shocked. Jets, Giants. I mean, Giants had a good draft, but anyways. So they get the Jags first, and immediately. So what's your, because we were often on the air.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, what's your thought process before they pick at 5?
Well, going into before the whole thing is, like I said it on air, is earlier in that day, I had my post-it note said Travis Hunter no matter what. And as things started to unfold and you started to hear rumors that they could possibly get a future 1, it was like, okay, I'm Travis Hunter, and I scratched out the no matter what. So I'm you got to listen to the phone calls. And all along it was like, I don't want to trade back. I don't want to trade back. But if you trade back, it has to net you that future first. I wasn't even thinking 36, and you know what I mean? It was, for me, it was the future first, and you don't want to fall back too far. So you accomplished all those things. You go from 2 to 5, you slip back 3 spots. Those 3 spots, though, take you out of the Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter sweepstakes. So on immediacy, that's a little deflating, right?
Yeah.
The immediate reaction is like, oh,
yeah.
But then you start looking at the possibilities. And I wasn't exactly sure what they were going to go. And then, like, right before they picked it, kind of was coming out that, Mason Graham's going to be the pick. And I love Mason Graham as a player. I just, for the regime that's analytical the way that they are, it was hard for me to picture that they were going to go interior defensive line at that pick. But it does a load for your defense. Like, we always focus on this being a throwing league, and you got to affect the quarterback. And so every move that you do on defense, especially with Schwartz, has been geared towards that. But you go get an elite interior defensive lineman who can stuff the run, and you supply someone behind him at the next pick, and you kind of fortify that spot of your defense, and you secure a future 1. It's hard for me to get mad at that. And to find out also that Miles was on board. Like, that was his preferred route of choice if you made that pick.
Let me clarify this for James. The odds aren't the odds. I should have phrased this better. The odds aren't who has the first pick in next year's draft. The odds are to win the Super Bowl. So the team and that's how, like, Tankathon and everybody does it, right? Mm-hmm. In that order, like the mock drafts that are already out for 2026 for you psychos, right? Like, those are based on, so it's based on the Super Bowl odds, and the Browns have the worst. They are last place in the NFL.
Todd McShay did a way the hell too early mock draft, and he actually had us picking 5th. So I don't know where he pulled his from.
Yeah, I saw
because he had the Jets first.
Yeah, I saw a 2nd and a 9 somewhere with us in Jacksonville. So people be pulling stuff from different where. So,
but 28, that's ridiculous.
28,000.
28,000. That's ridiculous.
So, get your money in now. Like, I was not against the trade, just because for me it's about quarterback, right? Like, it's about
every move you make. If you don't have one, has to be to get one.
You have to be getting closer to getting one. So, while it's a bummer not to get Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, whoever you wanted. It is immediately puts you in a better spot as an organization that someone was willing to give you a first next year. Personally, that's how I feel. Like, and at the time, once we got the deal, like, and you get 36, holy shit. Now, what are you going to do at 5? I would have preferred to go Ted McMillan.
Yeah.
That was my pick. I was like, now go playmaker, swing big. But I'm not going to quibble over Mason Graham because he's a hell of a football player, right?
Yeah. And I think
It's
of all
just,
the rookies, he probably has the clearest path to becoming an all-pro. But it's
he
just how
does.
much do you value that particular position?
So,
one thing that came out of it though that I have enjoyed is the GM is first-year GM, 34 years old. He looks young as hell. His name's James Gladstone. People are calling him Jimmy Stones now, and I'm on board with that.
I like that. Yeah.
Jimmy Stones. He also comes from the Rams, so F them picks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a bit of a wild guy.
He must be.
He has quite the speeches going so far. Did you hear his Travis Hunter speech when he introduced him?
I did.
Rather epic. So then we go to 33. Day 1, you leave with Mason Graham, you leave with the Hall. I'm good with it, right? Like, I'm good. I would have rather gone Tet. It doesn't matter. They're both Mason Graham is going to be a baller. The more you dive into, rather creepy is right. You're not a psycho, Jacob. I was just joking. I'm a psycho too. I was looking at 2026 big board the other day, so put me in that category as well. But yeah, so Jimmy Stones makes the move. We come away with a Hall and Mason Graham. So I'm not upset. Would it have been nice to get Travis Hunter? Sure. But ultimately, I think we're a step closer to getting our quarterback. And ultimately, that is the path to relevance, right? So day 2 is overnight. They stick at 33. I'm thinking, awesome. What was your list? We talked about our list going into day 2.
Yeah.
What was your list?
My receiver of choice was Jaden Higgins, but you have to consider Luther Burden's right there. Ariante Ursery, the tackle out of Minnesota, sitting right there staring you in the face. For me, those are the 2 positions that I think you needed to attack early because those positions are thinner and will die out, and you won't be able to get that caliber of a player, whereas running back, that strings on deeper. So those would have been my preferred routes.
I had 4 names written down. And they were Jaden Higgins, Luther Burden, Donovan Ezeraku, or Travion Henderson. To me, he's Jahmyr Gibbs of this year's draft.
Yeah.
He's not a workhorse like Judkins. And I like the Judkins pick. I'm fine with it. They're negligible to me. They're not like it doesn't move the board for me.
It's which flavor of ice cream do you like?
Right.
Ice cream
because then they went Samson, who kind of meets he's like Henderson light a little bit, right? Like they complement each other well. Henderson, Judkins and Samson do. And the body size difference, right? And all that. So like the running backs they chose, I have no problem with. I would have gone Henderson because he's more explosive, I think. But they wanted to go Judkins and more of the, every down.
You wanted a hammer.
Back, the hammer, the bell cow. And then you have Samson, who's a home run hitter as well. Like,
And they both fit the scheme perfectly, so.
What's that?
They both fit the scheme perfectly.
Yeah, so I was Judkins. I was fine with. Would you have rather taken Henderson or Judkins?
Judkins, but I wouldn't have went either at 33.
So yeah, I'm kind of
because you picked
taking.
up 36. In my mind, it was wide receiver or offensive tackle, just because those things were flying by. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the 33 to 36. I kind of group them together, right? Like you should have a group of players that you're like, I want to come away from these two picks
Yep.
with the two of this group, right? So they go Swessinger, which was way out of right
Left
field,
field.
right?
Yeah, I didn't see it coming
Didn't see it coming
at all.
At all. Actually, of all the guys that I even watched film on, I watched guys that were going later in the draft. Your Kobe Kings, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
in my wildest dreams, I wouldn't have thought they would have went linebacker that early.
So I hadn't dove into Swessinger much at all. Now that I have, he's a tremendous football. 1 year is kind of scary, but he appears to be a tremendous football player.
He was my linebacker one. I dove into him early because he came. Kyle Krabs brought him across one of the shows to bring him up. So the things he was saying about him, I was like, I got to get eyes on this kid. And then after watching him, I was like, there's no way we're getting him. He's going to go way too early. I didn't think we'd go linebacker till day 3. And then after all the additions we made during the offseason so far, I thought we weren't going linebacker at all at one point.
Was like, he mocked in the first round a lot?
Huh? Yeah.
Was he mocked
end of the first, beginning of the second? He was a top 40 for most people.
Okay.
But like, dude, his and the criticism is it's only 1 year, super valid. But his instincts are ridiculous. It's almost like he's sent from the future sometimes.
Yeah.
And when we talk about movement skills, I would prefer like his coverage. He can cover in man. I'd prefer him in his zone because his ability to drop is absurd. But he can get washed out, right? Like in run plays. Because if you do climb to the second level and do get on him, if you can't, because he's not a block deconstructor, he's a block evader. But if you can get up on him, you can wash him out. But when you go get a Mason Graham to put in front of him, I think he'll lead all NFL rookies in tackles, and I think he'll lead the NFL in tackles by the end of his rookie contract.
Wow. Yeah. Do you think it says something about JOK?
I mean, technically they're not the same position between Mike and Will. But yeah, I think all the moves kind of they've made this offseason have said something about JOK, really. I mean, they've really attacked the linebacker position in ways I didn't think they would, which is telling to me that I think they're completely prepared to play 25 without him. I don't think they're giving up on him, for the rest of his career, but I could see a world in which 25 he didn't step on the field.
Yeah. Watching his tape is fun.
Yeah.
He great IQ, like his ability to like dissect what blockers coming for him and just evade him. It's not JOK evading, like, you know what I mean? Like sliding by people, but he like outsmarts it and he beats people's spots.
Yeah.
And he's a lot of fun to watch. He never stops. He plays his ass off. He's got sideline to sideline speed. He's a ton of fun. So.
Yeah, and like it's weird because he wasn't on any of our radars, but I think by week 6, week 8, we won't be thinking about where he was drafted. We'll just be thankful he's on our team.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, here's how because I was angry at first. I was like,
there's a linebacker at 33.
What the hell is this? Linebacker at 33. Yeah. What are we doing? And then, but after you dive into his film, you learn more about him. You see what he can do. He can play Mike. He can play Will. He's probably your future Mike, like long-term Mike, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's like, okay, that's fine. And he's going to be he's a starter. Day 1 starter. So that's what we talked about with this draft. You got to come away with like 3-4 starters. It makes it a good draft. So fine, that's fine. I can live with it there. It's unconventional. It's not what I would have done, but great.
Yeah, the rumor was they had a first round grade on him. And no, I think they only had like 22 first round grades, and he was the one left standing.
He was the only one left. That's what we heard, right?
Yeah.
That's wild. That's wild. Okay. Then they go to 36 and they take Judkins. Once again, I would have gone Henderson, but it's Judkins. I'm not going to split hairs over it. It's fine. I can live with it. I don't mind them going running back there. Ultimately, this class got pushed. Like, we thought running backs were going to be coming off the board. It got pushed back. Very similar to that 2017 class I kept referencing that had like 30 backs that went. Like
the fourth
23
round
of them went day 3. This ended up very similar to that, right?
Yeah.
So
2 in the first round, 3 in the second. It was hold, and then when it went.
Pretty wild. But Judkins is a dog, and
yeah,
he changes your room, changes your offense immediately, right? So coming away with a defensive tackle, a linebacker, and a running back is so opposite of anything Browns you would have thought, right?
Yeah. Anti-AB draft.
Yeah, but ultimately, they're all good players.
3 starters. Those are 3 starters.
So, do you have any real grievances at this point? The Travis Hunter, right?
It's not even a grievance, but that has to play out. Like, that'll be something that we know in 3 to 5 years, whether, because we don't know who we took, because also all that hinges on who we get next year with that pick, to know at the end of the day. Look, man, philosophy wise, like, no matter what, if you don't have a franchise quarterback, every move you make has to be geared with getting that in mind.
Absolutely.
So that being said, I can't be mad. They fell back 3 spots, got in my mind, a future all-pro defensive tackle and a first, and then you also netted me Judkins out of it. Like, I'm cool on that.
Yeah. Same. So while I was feeling leaving, those picks feeling I was okay with it, right? And then they go Fannin, which crushes, great pick, helps change your offense. You need a playmaker like this. Great, love it all across the board, right? Everybody loves this pick. He runs weird, but he's still always fast enough.
If it's effective, I don't, you can be mad at his gait, but
yeah. So ultimately, at this point, in an unconventional fashion, I'm still fine. What about you?
Yeah. Well, and if you just look at the Fannin thing in a vacuum, like, is he a starter? No, not year 1. He is a phenomenal addition to that tight end room, though, and just
no doubt.
And it just his flexibility is he's like position agnostic to where you can put him all over. Just be that piece. I think I wouldn't have used this terminology because I don't play chess, but they refer to him as the queen piece because you can force mismatches by putting him in different spots. And when I did my final mock draft, my predictive what I think they will do, I had Fannin at 67. It was the only one I hit, so I'm gonna hold on to that one.
Hang on to that one, baby.
It's a win. We're going to talk about the losses. We'll just talk about the wins.
All right. Before we get into day 3, I want to talk about the spam bet.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's hash this out. So, ultimately, it was the Giants that did you in.
Yeah, I'll never forgive them for that.
They came back up into the first round to get Mr. Dart.
Yep.
In the spam, and you lost the spam bet.
Yes, I lost.
We knew it was happening. As soon as it happened, as soon as the trade call went in, I said, I smell spam. How did you feel at that moment?
I mean, I'll never forgive the Giants for what they did to me. Trading back up, reaching on a 3rd round talent, it just makes no sense. But so hope it bites them in the ass. Hope it gets them fired. That's where I'm at. The spam. So from that moment, it's like, okay, I'd already bought, I had to go out and buy the spam the next day. I had to find spam. I've never shopped for spam, so I had to find it. I don't know where you keep your canned meats. It was, turns out it's by the tuna people. if you ever need to look for it, find tuna, you'll find Spam. I was thinking it'd be close to like canned chili for whatever reason. Wasn't.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's what I get for being rational. So I got the Spam, and then I just like, how am I going to cook this? And then it hit me. I was like, all right, man, I got to do this right. So I trust me. I had plenty of you fuckers DM me recipes for how to cook this Spam.
Yeah.
So I chose to slice it thinly. Took about half a block of Spam. By the way, when the Spam like slurps out of the can, it's the grossest sound you'll ever hear.
Cat food.
It very cat food like, very much. So I sliced it thin. I put a little butter in the pan, fried it up. I don't know how to explain it. It's weird. It's weird. It's like the meat version of tofu. It's unholy. But then I also was like, okay, I also bought a pack of turkey, and I fried up the turkey, and I made a ring of turkey, and I placed the Spam in the turkey hole. I figure if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. You know what I mean?
Legendary move. Spam in the turkey hole.
And then so I was on until the Fannin pick. After the Fannin pick is when it was my shift to be off. So I got off, hung out with the kids for a little bit, and then with about 20 minutes before the show, I fried the Spam, do all the thing, get it ready. They picked Gabriel right before I come on. So that was a timeline of me getting to here with the Spam. And I mean, I lost the bet, dude. I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of the people. So
you are. You're a gentleman and a scholar, and you're a man of your word. You did it. You honored the bet like a man. Now, we argued about this, right? We argued about the whole thing. You stood your ground. I have my grade here. I can't.
yeah.
But ultimately, I was correct in the end, right? Like, it didn't matter what his grade was. Somebody was going to reach on him.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you made that same bet about Shador, right? Right? Even though you might not have had him as the first, you would have guaranteed he went in the first at that date.
No.
At the date you made the dart pick, dog, and now you're lying.
Maybe back then I would have, but not like a week ago.
Don't make me pull the clip, man. No, I'm talking about when we made the bet on. We made the bet on January 23rd. By the way, I went back and checked it out just for posterity.
Wow.
Yeah. No. Look, man.
That's a bold prediction.
Evaluating quarterback, and this is just another. Jackson Dart is Will Levis with a better agent. We'll see.
Listen, y'all motherfuckers laughed at me when I said that back in January.
I did, yeah. It's absurd.
Yeah.
He didn't have a snap count, dude. Like, he is so far behind the 8 ball. He's a developmental quarterback. He could be developed. That could happen. I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah.
Then again, I'd bet he'd Spam if he got taken in the first round. Look where that got me. By the way, let's talk about the Spam because you've never had it.
Hold on. McLothin, like a mouthful of ocean water.
It's salty. It's salty as hell, man. That's where I was going next. It is the saltiest. Like, I like saltier foods. You know what I mean? But the consistency of it just feels wrong. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, man. And Mike Keefe described it as canned bologna.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a gelatinous type thing. But it's just, it's super. Here's the other thing I didn't know about Spam. You can get it different ways. I could have got like non-regular Spam. I could have got hickory Spam. I could have got bacon flavored Spam. They were all there. The assortment of Spam. The Spam family is bigger than I thought it was.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw the low sodium. The thing is, I'm going for it, man. I got to do the rig. I got to do the OG, right? I lost the bet. So
yeah. Wow.
The burps of the Spam were the worst part.
So should we tell?
Don't. That is not the same thing. Spam is a delicacy in Hawaii, bro.
Yeah. Walk it off. So I've still never tasted Spam, and hopefully I never will. So,
well, we'll see.
I love our chat. Our chat's the best. All right, so so it was gross. It was cat food like. It dripped out of the dog food like. It just
slurped right out into the can. I had to, it was like gelatinous. I cut it in half.
At that point, I wouldn't have been able to go. Oh my gosh! Wow. Okay.
I mean, look, I'm just going to be real. I've eaten worse things than Spam.
Yeah.
It was gross. I wouldn't, choose to eat it again. Like, I'm not seeking it out.
What's our next bet going to be?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But I am on a quest now to make you lose a Spam bet. I have to.
So my next loss is always going to be Spam.
No, I'm not saying that.
Oh.
No.
Sardines, says Kramer. Kramer is really loves.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've never had sardines.
Sardines.
I've had Vienna sausages. They're a little faster. I've had those.
Fish out of a can.
Like cocktail parties and whatnot.
Only thing worse than meat out of a can is fish out of a can.
Oh, I can't. I've never. I would never. I don't even know if I'd agree to that bet, to be honest with you.
No.
Sardines? Pass, man.
Japanese cod sperm?
Now you're making shit up.
It's a delicacy?
Now you're making shit up.
Come on now.
Getting cod loads.
Yeah, that's disgusting. In culinary science, it's called a force meat. What? Leave it to chef to bring out the culinary science. What? A force meat? What does that mean? Like the meat's raping you? I don't understand.
That's not incorrect.
Kind of what the experience was like the meat was forced upon you.
I did it to myself. I have no one to blame but me. My hubris. Should have listened to you. Jackson Dart, clear first rounder. Never had a doubt.
Never had a doubt.
Yes.
There was never a doubt in my mind that he was going.
Which is wild. You don't have a snap count, Brad.
What's that?
He didn't even have a snap count. Gruden was disgusted with that. Did you see the clip of Gruden? It's disgusting.
What's your what did he say? What's your other audible or your check or whatever? And he's like, one clap.
Yep.
Two.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is low hanging fruit, but like he looks like the missing Paul brother, which is for me adds to it. And
he does. He's got some grit to him, though.
No, he's got stones. I've seen that kid, take the full brunt of a shot and still deliver. I was just, I don't know.
Speaking of grit, let's talk about day 3.
We didn't do the end of day 2.
Yeah, we did.
No, we skipped over Dylan Gabriel.
Oh, I was skipping. I put him in day 3. I'm sorry, I forgot.
So
to end day 2.
Yeah.
And this is when you came back with the spam after the Gabriel pick, right?
Yeah, right after. Like I was frying it up, watching on my phone, and I knew we were going. I was like, it's going to be a quarterback, and then I thought it was going to be Shador. I really did it. I thought 94 when they said it was going to be a quarterback, it was going to be Shador.
Bro, you saved me another DTR moment.
The spam.
Because it calmed me down. Because I was about to go nuts.
I wish like we would have recorded our post conversation to day 2, me, you, and Mike, because we stayed on and talked. The first 20 seconds that we were off air, you were electric. You told us how you really felt. It was amazing.
Listen.
It would have rivaled DTR stuff.
I've heard about the DTR pick and how I was insufferable for hours after they were picked that day.
Yeah.
And what bad content it was, that I just kept going on and on about what a terrible pick it was. Interestingly enough, I was on Jake's show last night, and he was like, Do you remember that day where we were sitting next to each other in the DTR pick? He's like, "Did you not feel the same exact thing when this happened with Gabriel?" I was like, "Yes, yes." He was like, "We were vindicated that day. We were. We were vindicated by DTR's terrible play. Either way, um, what
Kevin
what
got
are
his
they doing?
guy, man. I like it,
I know it's his guy. I know it's his guy.
and haven't we been saying we want him to get his guy?
I know, but and like that's the only thing that holds me back from freaking losing it is that it's Stefanski's guy.
He'd have been there at
But
126. I maintain that.
y-
But them doing it at 94 shows you they thought they had to walk away from that draft with Dylan Gabriel, or there's no other reason to pick that kid at 94.
but what kind of insanity is that? Top 100 pick on a guy that for me, and I hope I'm dead wrong, and I hope that he is a tremendous quarterback for the Browns, and I hope he leads them to all the glory.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it, Case. He's a backup at best.
Yeah. Well, if you're expecting me to talk you off the ledge, I'm not the guy. I don't like. Here's the thing. I don't like betting on outliers. 5'11", 205. So I was digging through quarterbacks earlier today, just looking like that. Try to find a guy that size, not named Russell Wilson, that's like had enough success with average tools. You know, he's got an above average arm, but it's not world bending. It's, you know, he's okay with his legs, but he's not blazing fast by any means. Like the closest physical comparison I could find him was literally Seneca Wallace. Does that make you feel good? Does that make you feel good, Brad?
Makes me feel great. No, I'm with you. World's fastest makes the point that you're making, and literally I've made the same point on other shows. Like, this is Stefanski's guy. We wanted him to pick his guy.
Mm-hmm.
This is the guy he chose. So ultimately, I can't argue with it because I wanted him to get his guy.
Yeah. Now you got to show us though. But this has to amount in something, because just for me, I'm looking at that board. I'm looking at a wide receiver like Ty Felton. I'm looking at an offensive tackle like Charles Grant. I'm looking at a safety like Xavier Woods. Those are the guys you left on the board right there by making that pick where you did.
Yeah, I mean, so Serge is saying a late third pick. Let's not go too deep. No, let's look at the 20 picks before and after him, all of which I would have rather had than him. Real. Let's be real. You said Xavier Woods.
Yeah, that was
right?
the very next pick.
2 picks after him, I think it was Woods, right? Or the safety. They need a safety. And who was there was other guys there too.
Charles Grant, the offensive tackle from William and Mary.
Charles Grant and
the receiver from Maryland
that can fly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ty Felton was there. Savion Jones was there. Upton Stout was there.
Upton Stout was a reach where they took him as well, though. I like Upton Stout. Dude's feisty, you know, slot corner, junkyard dog type, you know. But
how about the Raiders came all the way up and took our guy Dante Thornton Jr. at 100?
That's the most Raiders pick of all time. That's Al Davis,
and they got a great grade on it.
A height, weight, speed guy.
Ty Robinson. Anyways, the first 3 guys are the ones that one's brutal on. So It is. You're right, Philly. It's a guy that he likes. He's fostered this relationship. I mean, did you see their family and everything? Like, he knows their family. This has been his guy all along. We just didn't have it on our radar.
He went on our radars.
But this thing has dart throw. This has been his guy the whole time. So yeah, it's a reach. It's really probably not the best process, but if you're gonna give Steph his guy, and I'm a Steph guy, I really have to shut my mouth about it.
Yeah, and that's where I come to ultimately. He's like, look, did it catch me off guard? Yes. Do I think it's a reach? Yes. But we've been saying he needs to get his guy. Let him pick his guy. So I can't be mad just because it's not a guy I envisioned. So but now the onus is on them to show us that it was worth the 94th overall pick. It was worth going over Charles Grant or Xavier Wood. Like you have to show us now.
Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think that you think it's possible that we just aren't seeing what he sees from him?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, who am I to tell Kevin Stefanski he don't know shit? Like,
okay,
it has to be. It has to be on the table.
All right.
And I'll say this too: the thing that made me happy about the skill positions they took, the skill positions they took prior with Judkins and Fannin, and even later Sampson, those are all players that go into what Stefanski wants to do. So if they're leaning on Stefanski to go back to his that's all I can ask, man. That's why I'm excited. Those guys fit what Stefanski wants to do, and if he sees Dylan Gabriel as part of that puzzle, far be it for me to be like, you're wrong.
There's a clear path for Gabriel. I'll die on that hill. Okay. Yeah.
The hill will be made of spam, Jacob.
I hope you're right, Philly. He appears to throw an accurate ball.
Mm-hmm.
There's some weird things here, Spam Roach. There's some weird things here with the left-handed stuff that gets kind of weird because now actually probably plays to their benefit in the pass rush if Conklin's healthy. But everything's gonna roll left, and then ultimately it's Roach in the turkey hole. But if he goes to put one in the turkey hole, the ball fades differently.
And the rotation's different. It takes a while to get used to.
It's going to take some getting used to.
Mm-hmm.
He throws a pretty ball. I'll give him that.
The ball comes off his hand beautifully, man. And that was one thing at the Senior Bowl that stood out for me is because, and it also looks crazy because he's smaller, but he's got a hose, man. He can affect all three levels of the field.
Yeah. So we'll give it a shot. I mean, like we said, like if Steph wasn't my guy, I'd be all over this thing.
Yes. Same here. But we have been saying, like, man, just let him pick his guy.
Yeah.
In my head, it was going to be a different guy he was going to pick. But,
Yeah. I wonder why he didn't want to go Shedeur there.
It wasn't his guy.
The drama.
It wasn't his guy. Well, here's something I heard someone talk about. A GM spoke to somebody behind the scenes. It was like, look, and this is after night one. Night one comes and goes, and they're going into day two. And he said, if Shedeur doesn't go in the first 6 picks of round 2, that means the league doesn't view him as a starting quarterback. So nobody wants to put up with that headache for a backup.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like who wants to deal with that as your backup quarterback?
Tim Tebow. You think of the guys who've had that, or Kaepernick, the guys who were lightning rods. And don't get me wrong, man. Like, I haven't seen anything official, but like from what I've read, Shedeur's the number 1 selling rookie jersey so far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he definitely is a lightning rod for sure. But the Browns can't let that affect the competition.
Can't. So we're going to get to that competition because that's where it gets intriguing. But Dylan Sampson at 126. We've kind of been over this. We both like him. Were you happy with that pick though?
Yeah.
As a second back.
Yeah, I've mocked him several times right around that area when we had 104. That was one that I was commonly doing. So to get him at 126, and it just speaks to the depth of this class. That kid is a home run hitter, perfect for the wide zone.
Good value there.
And he tested good, but like I thought he was going to run into 4.3s based on his tape. His tape to me was a 4.3 guy. Like he's got just leaving behind speed.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, taking him, I was like, let's go. Because run game, that's the one thing you can do. We know our quarterback's not going to be elite to start.
Mm-hmm.
So let's put 2 good backs in there. Now, they didn't address the offensive line at all, but I don't know that they had to. It would have been nice, but I'm not mad at it, right?
I would have bet going into the draft. I would have bet anything they would have taken at least one
Yeah.
tackle and a cornerback.
Yeah.
So for the draft to pass, and this buck stereotypes. We've had 5 drafts of AB going into this, so we have a pretty good pulse of what he likes to do, positions he likes to target. He didn't take a cornerback, so like we have to reevaluate now.
Yeah. You can't trade Greg anymore unless, I can't. I don't think I can trade Greg with the corner room as it is, unless you think Cam Mitchell is going to have a breakout year or whatever.
Let's say, they know better than me. If they trade Greg, that means what it means, though, right? If they were to pull the trigger and trade Newsome, that means that Mitchell and Harden are ahead of schedule and they believe are ready for that workload.
Yeah, but like, not only does it have to mean that they're ready for that workload, but it also means that when Ward misses 2 to 3 games, one of them is going to have to play on the outside, and I don't see that on the horizon.
No, but maybe they do. That's what I'm saying. Their actions will tell us. They're never going to come out. You can't go by their words, but if they do trade Newsome, it tells you a lot.
All right.
Here's the reason I want to trade Newsome. Okay. 13 whatever, and it frees up 0 for Fannin.
Love that. Love that for Fannin. Standing for Fannin.
Standing for Fannin, baby.
Yeah, like I would have, I all along, and I mocked it like 20 times. I wanted to flip him in the draft for a corner.
Yeah, we really didn't get to see that, right? There wasn't that many moves inside of the draft like that. It was a pretty tame draft from that standpoint.
Yeah. I think that in the end, there are going to be more good players from this draft than people realize. Like, people are down on this draft. I think there's going to be more good players in the end. I liked little pockets of this draft.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's completely fair. Yeah. I was kind of looking at first round versus second round, because like you look at the first round, it's Genty and Hampton as far as running backs. Second round, it's Henderson, Judkins. You know what I mean? Like the quality. There were pockets where you could get starting level guys, and certain for position groups, kind of positioned throughout. And a lot of it, like, what do you need this year? Sometimes that shit has to line up. It was a good year to need 2 running backs and to walk out with. And I've said this before, but when I spoke with Daniel Jeremiah on a conference call and I asked him to give me some running backs that he thought would fit Kevin's system, he named 5, and 2 of them were Judkins and Sampson. Yeah. You got to feel good about walking away with 2 of those guys. I'd have been happy with 1 going into it.
So did you see that this guy, have you looked over what do you think? You got any, well, I'll finish the draft first. So obviously then they get to 144.
Well, they had 166 is what they had. And
another one.
Yeah.
They traded a 6,
179.
They traded 2 picks to get back up to 144. They traded the rest of their draft, 2 picks to get to 144. So they had a higher 5th and a 6th, then they traded up to 144 to get.
Like they had somewhere to be.
166 and 192. Thank you, Fumble. This guy. What is this? Are we serious?
You don't, Ghost Rider, you don't think that he has valid points, or you think he's just complaining just to complain?
But I literally just said I can't really complain because Stefanski's my guy. Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't know that Ghost Rider was a huge, Dylan Gabriel fan. I apologize if I offend. I hope he works out.
I have found that he does have quite a little cult following.
Yeah. Anyways, I was just about to say, I have no problem with them coming up and getting Shedeur here. Why not?
Yeah.
Do you have
It
a problem
confused me
with it?
because of the 2 plans thing. It's like, man, it was going to be a tight schedule to evaluate one quarterback on this shorter runway, but to do but here's also the big thing, and this is 100% a me problem. What did I say going into this whole process before free agency anything? I said it's not going to be sexy, and they need to cast the widest net possible. I said both of those things, and I didn't listen to my own advice because it wasn't pretty. They got Kenny Pickett. They went lower than I thought they would go, and they cast a wider net than I thought they would as well. So it was just me not listening to my own advice. They did what I asked them to.
They did. So ultimately, we go back to why I think the Browns are getting lauded by the 33rd team and PFF and all these places that want to give the Browns A+ on this draft.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because they took 2 running backs and they took 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Yep. And for guys, evaluators taking 2 quarterbacks in any draft when you don't have one looks like a good move. Especially when you get...
Let's be honest, they fell ass backwards into Shador at the end.
They did. They did.
So it looked like crazy value because there were, he was
value.
in the 20s on most people's boards, big board. So to get him at 144 is ridiculous value.
Yeah. Do you have a problem with them doing it? Would you have preferred they not do it?
I'm giving them a clean slate, right? Like all the noise, whatever, the interviews, all the process that, they completely fumbled to get here. I'm giving a kid a clean slate, man. In the moment, I was just confused. It's like, okay, are we all in for quarterback next year? But wide net, baby, wide net. And like he is a scheme fit for what you want to do. Like he also fits the scheme. He was picked 50 picks behind Gabriel. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to applaud the Browns as well for doing it because they passed on him 6 times. He obviously wasn't a player they were considering until it became such a value that they couldn't ignore it. I just wonder who would have picked him had the Browns not. How much further would he have slid?
It's a great question. Philly says he wished they wouldn't have. World's Fastest said they left meat on the bone. We could have done more. My dear is that the process was messy, and we have to hope next year is better. I think that's completely valid.
Yeah.
Didn't the process seem a bit of mess?
Yeah, it didn't. This is look like you said though. If you were to have fallen asleep before night 1 of the draft and woke up after it was over, and you saw you got these players, you'd be like, okay. But the way that it went down was clunky. It was weird. It was.
In order to make it seem not messy, you have to move the picks around.
Mm-hmm.
You have to move Gabriel back. You have to move Shador up. You have to move. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't, as created, it doesn't look right.
The Lions had the similar thing the year they took Campbell and Branch.
Yeah.
Where that if you move their picks around, it's like, oh, they killed it. But like if you lived it in the moment, it was just weird. Had a weird feeling to the whole thing.
Emerald says, my fear is that even if he is bad in camp and doesn't pick up the offense, study hard, etc., they won't have the guts to cut him. Nah.
Well, that's their fault. If that's how that goes down. He's the 5th round pick. He's got to be about his business now. Like that's the reason I'm giving him a clean slate, man. You got rookie minicamp. Here's the thing, because we can't even worry about the starter. You got to show that you deserve more reps than Gabriel. That's your first order of business. And that starts day 1 of rookie minicamp. Like you got to.
Which is why they're getting lauded by a lot of people. The smart people are giving them credit because they're saying
Like it was part of the plan.
Gabriel does everything right.
Mhm.
And then they took Sanders, and he has to first thing have to be. He's not even the first quarterback drafted this year, so knock the entitlement right out of him. He has to be Charlie Hustle from the moment go, just to
Mhm.
beat out Gabriel, a guy who is going to do everything right along the way.
Yeah.
So but that's not what they're. My point is that was never their
That was never
plan.
the plan, dog.
That was not their plan.
We're going to let them slip to the 5th round. We're going to knock the cockiness out of them.
Yeah. I mean, they would have been genius, right? But that was not their plan. They fell ass backwards into that. But sure, that's fine, and I hope it works out that way. But like people acting like this was done on purpose is insane. Low cost gamble. Philadelphia wasn't going to draft him. Would have said, "Oh no, if Pittsburgh got Sanders." Good point. Sanders is not guaranteed a roster spot. He is not. He is not. I think he will make one, but.
But it's now it's on him. It's him to master the playbook, be a leader of men, show you can take command and that you can operate. That's all on him now.
The city is Sanders. Have you seen the video? Guardians throwing up the watches. Kids love him.
I can't give a shit about any of that though. That's all well and good, but like if the kid can't play the game, then none of that matters.
Yeah. I mean, he can play. I think.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but none of that matters if he didn't take to the offense. If he doesn't take the right steps now, it doesn't matter if people are enthralled with him. It can't. Too many people's jobs are on the line. Joel Bitonio came back for this shit. You can't be like, well, he's popular.
No.
Be seen and not heard, man.
Yeah. I wish he would tone that shit down a little bit, but it is what it is. But I'm not gonna get off my lawn. Whatever. What ultimately matters is if he goes to work and does his job.
And that's the reason
he can be as popular as he wants. Yeah,
show me.
He can be as popular as he wants outside, and whatever, and do all the things that he does.
Mm-hmm.
But Dad's not going to be around.
Better not be. Jesus.
I saw his house was up for sale in Texas or something. I hope he's not moving to Cleveland. Can you imagine? And that will be different for him, but I think he'll be better off without Dad around.
Well, you can only become your own man in that scenario. So he has to want that. Hopefully he does.
It's a human thing. This isn't about him. This is just about humans in general. It's hard to become your own man when Dad is walking next to you the entire time.
Yeah, and just, we're talking about a player for all sakes and purposes that's been homeschooled as far as a football player. And this is his first chance to be outside of that umbrella,
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't have a problem with them coming up to take him. It's elite value on a guy that I don't think deserved to fall that far. I get the point makes sense. Who wants him as a backup with all the circus that's coming with it? But ultimately, the Browns, I think Joe Flacco will start the season personally, but ultimately they don't have a hierarchy, really.
Yeah,
they do sort of.
You took a flyer on Pickett as well. But here's the thing for me is now, doesn't matter which rookie, one of those rookies has to prove that they're ready to be the backup immediately, or you have to keep Pickett. You can't just not have a backup who's not ready to play. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, and are they going to take 4 quarterbacks on the active roster? No way. So one of those rookies has to hit the ground running and prove, because you're going to keep Pickett in the camp. You need camp arms. You need people to throw. But if you trade Kenny Pickett, there's no dead cap coming back your way. He's expendable in that way. But those players, it's incumbent upon them to make him expendable to the organization.
Charlie Chuck says Gabriel's number 2 at worst right now, in his opinion. Do you agree with that?
He hasn't thrown a pass. I can't. No, I can't.
No.
I can't do that yet. I want to. I would love to say, let's move on from Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
So I can wear my shirt on air, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Ultimately, the greatest the perfect situation is Flacco starts, he wins you, he gets you out to a 4-2 start, and then they transition to either Pickett or Sanders, or not Pickett, Gabriel or Sanders. I think more likely Sanders, in my opinion, but whoever takes the job better, more.
Mhm.
And they take you down the home stretch and you make the playoffs this year or something, right? That would be the ideal situation. And Pickett gets cut.
No, trade him for something, man. Try to get a
Good riddance. But it doesn't. That's all going to be decided here. To your point earlier, this is where it gets messy. Now you need to find out about Dylan Gabriel and Sanders in 1 year's time.
Yep.
And you have limited ability to do so.
Yep. Because you also have to win games. So you can't just be like, we're experimenting. You know, you can't, you're not going to be able to do that. Now, something could happen and Flacco get hurt and it changes the dynamic of the situation. And one of those guys are forced into action.
Yeah.
But this is a short runway to figure out if one of these dudes is the guy. Because if you're not 100% convinced one of them's the guy, then you go and then you get gifted a top 5 pick next year, or and obviously the draft could shake out. Like I don't think Arch is coming out, but there's going to be at least 3 or 4 guys that are, as we sit here today, that are viewed as better than the class we just had. If that happens, I mean, we've been searching for this quarterback for so long. We can't let good get in the way of great, is what it comes down to. So if you're not convinced one of those 2 dudes is going to be great, you have to take the shot on what you think will be great, man. It's just such a short runway to evaluate not 1 but 2 quarterbacks. So it's a crazy needle they have to thread, and it could play out in a variety of ways. To where, like you said, Flacco comes out, they're 4-2, 6-3, or whatever it is at the time they transition to the rookie, and then whatever that guy looks like, you have to be so compelled with their play that it's like, okay, we can move on and use that on offensive linemen. We can use that on a weapon. We can, those picks next year. But you got to be all in on the plan then.
Yeah. Listen, to me, there is no way. I would find it extremely difficult to envision any world where I feel so confident in one of these 2 that I'm not going after the quarterback next year.
Yep. They literally have to blow you away with their play.
Ultimately, yeah.
There's got to be no doubt this kid's a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, I just don't know if I could get there in 1 year.
And it's not even going to be a year, because as far as on field,
less than.
Do you know what I mean? So, like, if it's a 6-7 game sample size, like, what does that have to look like for you to be like, yep, hands down, that's our guy going forward? Call off the search, boys. We got our guy.
Yeah. I mean, the opportunity that you have set yourself up with is the chance to end all of this shit. 40 years worth of nonsense at the position, right?
Yep.
To Ghost Rider's point, my bit, right? Here's my what do they call it? Here's my my shtick.
Your shtick.
Yeah. I'm doing my quarterback shtick. No, I just want it to be over and them land the guy of the future. And in order to do that, I think you have to take a swing next year in that class with the ones, assuming that everybody comes out or the class develops the way we think it's gonna.
Yeah.
which is
So today, McShay did a way too early mock draft, right? And they had us picking 5th, and he had us taking Cade Klubnik out of Clemson, which hurt my feelings.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not big on
Why?
Cade personally.
You don't
I'm
like
not big,
Klubnik?
not big on him. No. He
Why?
had in that draft. He had Nussmeier going 1, Lenore Sellers went at 4, and he had Drew Aller going at 7.
And the Browns were where?
5.
And they went with Klubnik over Aller?
Yeah, that's what McShay did. Yeah, today.
Let me ask you this: is it Aller or Alar?
Oh, he's a local boy. You guys should know. I'm the Southerner here. I don't know.
I've always said Aller, but I think is it Pete? Pete says Alar.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for you.
I thought it was Aller.
I'm gonna say Aller for now.
Yeah. So, thanks, Kramer. I hope you're right, New Harper. I hope you're right, man.
But because if for that to be the truth, it literally has to be day one. You know what I mean? Hitting the ground running. But I hope that's the mentality Shedeur comes into this with is like, okay, now it's done. Now I got to show him. Now I got to work. Now I got to, take charge of this whole situation and go out there and earn it. If he does that, I'll have no complaints.
Yeah. Like, we don't know the kid.
No.
We just know what we are shown.
And when I'll say this, this is a be who you can afford to be league. And I think the league was giving him a notice, like you can't afford to be that brash. The way he was approaching interviews, stuff like that, But he also, was brought up today too, like part of having an agent is that they prep you for that shit. He didn't have an agent. He had no one being like, all right, here's the questions they're going to ask you. Here's what they're going to do. Because if you think back to Deion's his advisor. Deion did the same thing. The Giants had like the 10th pick. And they're like, hey, we want to bring you in, interview you. He goes, all right, cool. What do you pick? They said 10. He goes, I'm going to be long gone by then. I ain't coming. You know what I mean? Like he kind of treated it the same way his dad did. But his dad could afford to be that guy because of his skills. They fumbled the pre-draft process disastrously.
Oh, all time bad.
But if we benefit from it, can I be mad about it?
No, we can't. I'm not mad about it. Ultimately, we benefit from it. And then, did you see that his brothers fired his dad and hired Drew Rosenhaus?
Shiloh?
Yeah. That's what he should do.
Yeah.
Go talk to your brother. I mean, not that Shiloh is going to be really good or anything. He's just a UDFA,
He's a guy,
but in Tampa. But Deion being in control of this process, let him get to a place mentally where they thought like they didn't have to do this, they didn't have to do that. He didn't have to. Like they thought that they accidentally thinned their own opportunity. There's only 32 teams. You know what I mean? And you cut off half of them by just being.
And you cut off the half that weren't good, the guys who would have had a chance to draft you early.
Exactly.
So
listen, if he gets away, he gets some good advice and gets in the building and they get him in the culture and
And I just hope we don't hear from Deion about it either. Like I don't want to. I don't need to hear him comment on any of this. Let your son go be himself. Let him go his own way, man.
Did you read that? It was made up or whatever, but that he was coming to the first meeting in Cleveland. Did you see that?
I did.
That's fun.
Problem is, I didn't know if it was made up the first time I read it. It's like, was this happening?
Yeah. That's what I thought too. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" All right, post draft, two biggest needs for the Browns right now.
I mean, free safety.
You're watching all eyes on Cleveland. Hit
Free
like,
safety,
hit
man.
subscribe. Casey Kinnamon, post spam case. My name's Brad Ward. A couple more minutes, we're gonna wrap it up here. My mouth is getting really
And you gotta go talk on the
sore.
radio, sir. You gotta.
I know, and I got it. It's if you're local, listen to 1100 at 9:05. I'll be on with D-Man, 1100 ATM, ATM AM,
So
1100.
to answer your question, though, I'm looking at free safety, and we need another wide receiver. You let Elijah Moore. He slipped through the cracks. You took it. You tried. Buffalo said, "Nice try. We're gonna pay him up to $5 million. Takes him out of that bracket." You signed Deontay Johnson. I haven't seen the deal yet. I'm hoping it's a vet minimum. He's a guy who needs to prove himself again. Like the last time I seen
chance.
him, huh?
This is last chance.
Well, it should be. He's been on 3 teams since the last time I've seen him play well
in 1 year.
Yeah. So, but at his best, he could separate early. I view him as a slot. You already got Judy. You go get Fannin. Like I need a guy who can win on the outside. The guy that you can pair across from Tillman, and we don't know what we have in Thrash. There's a lot of moving parts. I would feel much better with a proven weapon on the outside.
No doubt. There's no doubt. How do you feel about the whole Elijah thing?
They wanted him, but they didn't want to overpay for it. I think with the unrestricted free agent tag, which wasn't something I knew even existed, had no one paid him more by camp, he would have played for 110% of his salary last year, which was a deal. Like, what was it, 3.4? That's a deal for Elijah Moore. Especially we know what he can do with Flacco. We know, and I know I've seen a lot of people today like, oh, the Bills just have an unhealthy obsession with slot receivers. It's like, I think Elijah still does his best work on the outside.
He does.
It's a skill that we could have used. So I would have brought him back into the fold. He wouldn't have been on the market if it was me. Because you could have got him for like you could have done 2 years, $9 million. Boom.
They
and that
should have
a solid floor to your room.
They should have. They should have paid the $5 to keep him here.
Yes.
But why are we being cheap about this?
I don't know. Then again, they might think Thrash is going to take that step.
That's crazy.
I know, but they know more than we do as far behind the scenes what he's looking like, what he's working at. If he's got his physical strength up, they're gambling. They got to be right because you can't just go out there with Cedric Tillman, who's unproven in his own right.
Yes,
is your outside guy, and Judy can play on the outside, but he does his best work from the interior, man.
It sucks because you know me, and I'm, I probably feel too strongly about Elijah Moore. Mm-hmm. Because A, he's a football diehard, and B, he's got a great work ethic.
And we saw the proof of concept with Flacco. We know that would work. We know that is something you can roll with.
Which was the main reason I wanted him a shot here is because he played his best games. Now, many Browns players can play. They say they played their best games against or with Joe Flacco as their quarterback. And Njoku's, all of his best games were with Flacco. Elijah Moore as well. Now,
I don't think, like I see in the comments, OG saying it's possible the Browns really believe in Tillman. You need more than Tillman, though.
Yeah. That's just 2. I mean, even if Tillman works out, that's just 2 guys.
Yeah. So you got to have more than that. I hope they really believe in Tillman. In the short sample size that we saw with Jameis, Tillman looked really good.
Yeah.
The concussion was unfortunate. It was weird. It was weird that's the hit that took him out for 6 games at the end. But
that concussion makes it not a sure thing. Like he wasn't able to
Mhm.
complete the process of saying, "Oh yeah, we can count on this guy for sure."
Yep.
So now it's Judy, who's off of a 1 year renaissance in his own right.
What even a full year? It was just when Jameis took the job.
Jane, yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? Those first 6 games, there was nothing.
Tillman, who had a mini coming out and then got hurt, and then a bunch of let's hope so's. Um, I don't think that they made a mistake on passing on Travis New Harper, but they definitely. I would have liked to seen them address wide receivers somewhere in this class.
Mhm. Well, I mean, we talked about this. If you don't go Schlesinger at 33, you walk away with Luther Burden or Jaden Higgins. You know,
Yeah,
if you could take Ty Felton instead of, Gabriel at 94, there were players to be had at those spots.
he seemed high on. I mean, David Bell was off to a great start.
Maybe we're burying the lead here. It's the return of Mikey Trees, baby. Let's get the hype train going.
They added Fan and we're going Gronk. Yeah, not. He helps, but you still need more than 2 wide receivers.
In this league, for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, and maybe it's Mikey Trees, maybe it's somebody else. Do you take Deontay Johnson seriously? I mean, he can separate when he plays.
Mm-hmm. It's up to him. He hasn't been worth a shit in a couple years now.
Who in this on this team is going to be the leader that makes sure he stays in line?
Well, I'll say this because in wide receiver construction, we talk about like all of them be built like a basketball team. One important factor no one talks about is you can have one dumbass. You can't have 2 in the same room, but you can have one wild card. So he fulfills that quota. Who's going to be the leader? Is Judy that guy? Is he vocal? Like Njoku is, but he's not in with the wide receivers all the damn time.
And he's not. I don't think he's the kind of guy that will put the smack down on anybody.
They need one, don't they?
Yeah. They need a real hard ass.
You need leaders across the board, though. There's like on defense, their best leader was JOK, in my opinion.
They need Jarvis back in there as the wide receivers coach.
Just get Pete to sign off on it.
Yeah, he'll love that. Yeah, Mason Graham can be a leader. He can grow into it. Carson can grow into being a leader. That doesn't help the offensive side of the ball, though.
And those guys, year one, he can't come in and just you be bossing vets around.
It's really the crazy thing is it's the offensive line, right? Should be the culture setters in this team, but they need to make a concerted effort to be like, we're not just going to culture set us, our room. If we want to win anything or accomplish anything, we need to embrace the quarterback and then set culture through the room to everybody. Like Batonio.
Well, all that has to do with their play too, though. You have to be playing at a high level to command that.
Batonio, Teller,
Conklin.
This is why I want to bring Chubb back because he can't talk. He validates the room and he validates the locker room just by being there. Bring him back and just his presence will keep some people in line.
Yeah, I was hearing rumors this week that Chicago's. See, I'm seeing that coming to Chicago. And look, man, if he can get more opportunity and more money, I can't be mad at him for taking it. But just given what this fan base has went through, it's going to be a blow to lose Chubb, man.
It is, but it's not like Chicago's going to win anything.
No, but he'll have a better opportunity, more carries, more money. Like at this stage in his career, I can't be mad if he goes that direction. I just hope the Browns do the right thing and bring my man home. Give him a 2-year deal. Let him retire, Brown.
Yep.
Ring of Honor immediately, all that shit.
Yep. So I hope
We
I
also
wish
play
they
Chicago
would.
this year in Chicago. I don't want to see Nick Chubb on that field for the other team,
No,
man.
that would be difficult for everybody involved. Although I'm not worried about runners anymore. It's all
No,
about
but he'd be a
culture.
perfect mentor for Junkins. Just their running styles, the physicality, how to go about your work, how to be a professional. Like Nick's the
And
blueprint, man.
I'm not so much worried about the offensive line for this year. It's beyond this year that I'm
Yeah, none of them are
concerned
under
about.
contract. Like you start
Yeah, no.
getting, but I'm still worried for this year.
You
I'm
are?
still, yeah,
Even with Jenkins and
yeah.
Zinter coming back and Cornelius, I feel like they've addressed it well. I agree, Philly. That's a guy I would certainly explore talks with. I don't know if he would ever want to come here, though.
True.
Keenan Allen.
I'm always going to be worried about the offensive line, man. Always.
Thanks, Jacob. Um, yeah, I mean, what other wide receivers? So Alec Pierce, I still think is a potential trade candidate.
The guy I've always kind of held on to for like a reclamation project doesn't make sense for us now. Maybe Traylon Burks, but he's a primary slot. We're good on that guy right now.
We
But
got
I like,
slots on slots on slots.
yeah. I need someone on the outside. Pierce would do that. Pierce would be a guy who wins on the outside.
Yeah, so he's going into the last year of his deal. It's really about the kid they drafted last year. What's his name?
Roma Dunze?
No, I'm
Or
talking
hold
about
on. You're talking about
Indy.
the kid from Texas.
Yes.
It's got initials.
Yep.
Why am I not doing it? Why is my brain not working?
There it is. Donnie Mitchell.
AD
Thanks,
Mitchell.
Chat. Yeah, Downs is there, Jacob, but Mitchell's the guy they need to step up. If AD Mitchell stepped up, then I feel like they would potentially shop because hasn't been good enough to earn a contract extension there, has he? No fucking way.
No, because there wasn't a ton of volume, but he did lead the league in yards per catch last year. He's a deep threat.
Pierce?
Yes.
Did he really? But are they going to extend him, you think?
No, because they already paid one receiver and they got to make room for Mitchell. You just went and got your tight end. You know what I mean? Like, so Downs maybe because he fills a different role would probably of the two would be the one they would look to. And he's not a volume guy at all. Like there were games where he wouldn't even, it was either he'd catch 2 40-yard bombs or he wouldn't get on the stat sheet. But that skill set is so useful when you're looking to stretch the field, looking to lift the lid. You know what I mean? Someone that they actually have to respect.
Rusty says we talked about this during the draft cave.
Yeah, Wicks and
Green
Dubs.
Bay.
Get one of those dudes. Wicks and Dubs. Get one of them.
Yeah. So listen to what they've done to their room, though. So they added Bo Melton, I guess. Anyways, McCole Hardman they signed in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
And then they drafted Matthew Golden to go with Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, drafted Savion Williams. So I guess it's kind of You could put him in the running back room or the Christian Watson, Dontavian Wicks. So, I mean, if I was them, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, I don't see that's just a really good wide receiver room. I see no reason to get rid of any of them.
Yeah.
Unless the only one I think that they would be interested in shopping, strangely enough, is Watson, because he stays hurt.
Yeah, and his deal's
They're
coming up.
they're not going to want to give him the extension. So I would kick the tires on him.
Yeah. We don't have someone on our roster that prevents me from doing it. That's for damn sure.
We need wide receiver help.
I need, and that skill set in particular. I need a big outside guy who can take the lid off. Can you do those things? We got a spot for you.
So I have some other names that I'm working on because I'll have a wide receiver trade candidate article out later this weekend. So
that's what they call a teaser, folks.
Keep an eye on that at theobr.com. Bam. So you could feel the spam on your teeth. That's a weird thing to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I could feel it in my soul when I burped.
It's rough, man.
It was.
Sorry.
It was. No, you shouldn't be sorry. I should be sorry. I should have just taken your advice.
And you were very dug in.
Yeah, well, that's dude. I'm doing nobody a service if I like. That's what I thought of the kid. That's what I still think of the kid. My evaluation didn't change because the Giants made a dumbass decision.
But you had to know somebody was going to reach.
No, I didn't. I didn't have to know.
You should have known.
One bad team made a decision, man. What am I going to do?
Somebody was coming up to get him either way.
Who was the other team?
Maybe us.
Wasn't us. We weren't. We had Gabriel. What are you talking about?
Maybe
Gabriel circled.
Maybe the Saints.
Saints were in on Chuck. They were going to stay put, which is crazy because Loomis is notorious for trading up.
Are you calling me lucky? Put? You think I got lucky in this?
I mean, I think the Giants made a dumb decision, and I did not benefit from it. Is what it is. It was close, man. It was borderline. It was, he's either going to go very late first or very early second, right? Like that. Those.
I didn't get lucky. This was a well thought out bet.
What number did he go, Jay? Come on. What is it? What number? 26, 25? End of the first, beginning of the second. That's where he was going to go, man.
Calmer than you are, bro.
No, dude. I took it like a champ.
I know.
I did throw my hat across the room.
It's okay.
The moment that it happened.
It's okay. You will never get me to use sardine ever. Ever. Stephen Kramer.
Yeah, I'd rather be tased.
Yes. We can do that. I'll get tased before I eat a sardine. He went 25th, says Roach.
Yeah. They reached up to get him. And I said this, I don't know if I said it on air or to you and Mike later. If I'm just being real, looking at the way the draft was going to unfold, the landing spots I saw realistically for Dart were if the Giants came back up or just stayed and got him at 34 or whatever. And then you had the Rams. The Rams, whoever took him has to be in position to not play him because, to my point, he's developmental. So you have to, like, if you're the Giants, you got Russell and Jameis. You can afford to develop them. If you're the Rams, you got Stafford. Get him in the wings, get him up to speed. The Saints were the wild card because of the Derek Carr nonsense. So they were the wild card in that. But those are the three teams that I had to watch out for, and one got me. I heard that the Rams almost did it. They almost pulled the trigger, but then traded out.
Really? tased spam Kinnamon has a ring to it.
I don't think it really does have a ring to it, though. I think you're forcing it there. There's not much of a ring, no alliteration, doesn't rhyme. Going to give you the nano, my damie.
Sardines are actually great on wheat crackers. Oh, MC. I could do a sardine in oil, but in mustard, no way. What are we talking about? Giants took Dart. Don't think Rams wanted anyone else. Yeah. See, maybe the Rams had my back.
Well, he did. That's where the pick came from. Or no, Houston traded out. So
no, it wasn't LA, was it?
No, it was Houston. Houston had 25.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll never know.
Maybe you're further away than from this this quasi, you got lucky thing than you really think.
Dude, he's QB3 in New York. Settle down. They reached up to take a guy who's
I'm
QB3.
not calling him anything better than that. I'm just saying I was right. He went in the first round. Well, we really have to hash this out again and have a conversation about.
I'm never going to
where you had him ranked.
Prove me otherwise. He's a developmental quarterback. Is that part right? Yeah. So someone traded up for a developmental quarterback. That's a terrible process right there.
Oh, come on. You knew it was going to happen in this class. Somebody was going to fall in love with him with the traits. I knew it in January. Came to fruition. Let's not pretend that I didn't know what I was doing here.
They called you a madman.
You think I luck boxed into this, but you don't even know that the freaking Rams had their back. He was going either way.
As a developmental quarterback.
I'm just kidding. I have no idea what the Rams are going to do.
It would make sense, though. Stafford can't play forever. They need an option.
Yeah.
He can be a system guy. He can learn a system. That's what we know about him.
You're damn right, Kramer. You're damn right. All right, you got anything else to say about this draft before we start talking about the rest of this offseason? They need a safety and a wide receiver badly, and they need O-line help. Maybe.
You just did it. I mean, all that and fuck the Giants. That's my basic takeaways.
I feel you. But yeah. Next bet, we'll get something in the works. I don't know about being tased. I don't know if I want to be tased.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be tased. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not eating a sardine.
But I'm not eating
a tomato. People need to stop that shit. I'm not eating a tomato.
No.
Stop asking.
Do you watch The Challenge ever?
No.
You've ever watched The Challenge on MTV?
No. I don't have cable.
Anyways.
Terrestrial network cable anymore.
Yeah, so they have like these, in some of the challenges, they have to eat the grossest shit ever, dude. And like some of them have like, it's like goat testicles and, with sardines on top. And
yeah, I'm good. I'm good on that. I like my taste.
Yeah, so we're good. Nope, not gonna have a spoonful of mayo either, Kramer. What is wrong with you, Kramer, that you want to see us?
He does. He wants to see us
foods?
Anguish.
You sicko.
All right, let's get to the real thing before we go out of here. 100 guys versus a gorilla. Go. What you got?
I already explained this. There's no way any man is surviving this.
100 men.
100 men. A full-size silverback will crush all of them.
It'll get tired of crushing.
No.
It does. I'm telling you, man. You let me pick the 100 men, and this is light work.
How are you going to get light
work?
Look,
I need a full allotment. I need a full NFL salary cap. I need the full allotment is going to be divided between the survivors, and I'm picking the 100 men. This is going to be light work.
Chuck Norris. Okay, and how I just don't see it, dude. They will all
100,
die.
dude. And I'm like, oh, look, dude, like 100,
He
like
could
average
just
humans, probably not. I'm not getting average humans, dog.
okay,
We're
that's fine.
D1
You can
wrestling
have
or not.
100
We
of
are
The
getting
Rock.
UFC fighters. We're getting savages.
Bring The Rock. 100 of
Rock,
cloned.
he's a fucking wrestler. I'm not getting The Rock. I'm getting
Okay,
real
who
fighters.
do you want then?
Dude, 100 real fighters, like real
Okay,
fighters.
bring them
Man.
on.
Like
What
Francis
are they gonna
Ngannou hammer fisting this dude. While everyone else grabs a leg. We're getting this dude on the ground.
He's not a dude. And he will just swing his arm and knock everyone back. He will swing his other arm and knock everyone back. He will pick people up and just smash their brains in.
One at a time, Brad.
And everyone will turn around and run the other way.
No, because they're being paid. I'm paying 200 and what's the full NFL salary cap?
I don't care. What good is that money when you're dead?
There are humans out here that aren't just regular people, man. You can do this. You let me pick 100 people. I'll cherry pick. I'm getting the best of the best. I'm getting crazy people, and we're paying them all $30 million. Go kill Mighty Joe Young. Get Kong's ass on the ground and end this.
Look at its bite force.
Yeah, there's going to be casualties. I'm not saying we're walking out. There's going to be casualties, man. Do you want the money or not?
What good is it if you're dead?
It's not. Right. Don't die. Be better than that.
You're gonna die. You're all gonna die.
I'm not dying.
You're dying.
No way. No way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're gonna defeat the Silverback.
We're not all. He's not gonna be seeing this all. We're all. There's 100. I don't think you understand how many people that is.
I don't think you know how big this dude is. He will just grab them off of him and just throw people and just throw and just. It's not gonna matter. He's not gonna be fazed by 100 people.
He's gonna be confused. The whole thing is gonna be wild, dude. 100 people. We could do this,
dude. You're not going to confuse him. I'm
just being given 100, so I'm going to use 100. I don't think all 100 need to do this.
Flicking fleas off of him. He's going to be like, boo, boo. I mean, he's just going to grab people and throw them and bite into them and they're all dead. You need 1,000, and that's not even.
He can do 1,000. Now, listen, dude, you're ridiculous. 100's too many. 100 people all converging at the same time. He's not going to do all that. No, we don't need a can of spam. We don't need anything. It's hand to hand. Dude, someone needs to talk about what a hottie Jessica Lange was back in the day. We don't need a banana, dude.
Dude, Crookens. I'm just saying, I don't think humans have a chance. I don't think we realize how insane that is. Like, you can run at him and jump on his back all day. It's not going to faze him.
100 people, man.
We're not seen 100 people. But you act like I've never seen 100 people before, Casey.
Everywhere, legs. We're getting them on the ground. We're ripping dicks. We're gouging eyes, dude. He ain't making it.
Ripping dicks.
Ripping dicks. Gouging eyes. We're playing for keeps, Brad. We're playing for keeps. We're winning this. I'm not going to hear this 100. If you let me pick the 100 men, this is light work. We're getting it done.
Not light work. You have lost your mind. You act like I haven't seen 100 people before.
You ain't seen
100 people looks like. I know what 1,000 people looks like. You act like 100 is it's some insane amount of people. It's not that many.
Could you beat up 100 fifth graders at the same time?
No.
I'm getting world-class killers. I'm getting full-grown world-class killers, dude. Full-grown. World-class killers.
They won't get close enough.
We're getting a bunch of D1 wrestlers, a bunch of UFC fighters, and some jiu-jitsu guys. We're getting this dude on the ground. We're strangling the life from him. He ain't making it. Ripping dicks. Gouging eyes.
I'm saying ripping dicks. All right, listen. I got to go, but the best idea you've had is that to go for the Eyez. Are you still there? I thought I lost you.
We broke the internet.
Listen, the best idea you had was to go for the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Tucker says tickle him. I think that's a good idea too.
I can have 2 guys working on that while the rest of us do our business.
Yeah, you could maybe try to befriend him first and then kill him.
He's going to be confused. He ain't a trained fighter.
He's not going to be confused if you just
confused. For sure.
The first person that tries to attack him, he's just going to pick you all up and
There's not a first. They're all coming at the same time, dude.
Fine. He'll just wipe you out with one swift blow of the. I mean, dude, what are we talking about here?
Rear naked, baby. He's out.
Why? You're going to do a rear naked to a gorilla?
No, I'm not, dude. I'm the coach.
I'm the nobody's going to do a rear naked to a gorilla.
They're going to orchestrate my plan
how insane to
a T, Brad. To a T. This is
You're
happening.
Going to need. You could not
Mr.
even.
Mr. Beast, hit me up. I got you. We'll figure this out.
This is madness. All right. Let's get out of here. Casey Kinnamon, post-spam case. Appreciate you for living up to your words, sir. In the post-draft episode, keep it locked to the OBR.com for all of our work as we break this thing down. Pete's got the comprehensive draft breakdowns every day. He's doing a good job. Spam Kinnamon is ripping dicks and throwing out rear naked chokeholds. So there we go. We got it locked down for you. You got anything to say, Case?
No, man. I think we said it all.
I think we did too. All right, keep it locked. We'll see you next week here on All Eyes on Cleveland. Appreciate you all hanging out with us for tonight. I'm going to slide over and hop on the radio real quick. And then I'm not going to say another word for the rest of the night because my jaw hurts really bad. But great job, Casey, as always. Great job, chat. We love you. We appreciate you. And with that, we're going to get out of here. This has been another edition of All Eyes on Cleveland. See ya next week. Have a wonderful evening. We're out.